Zoe, this film is amazing. It's so fantastic. I feel like I was Jake Sully from the first movie when he keeps going to the chamber to go to Pandora. I felt like that when every time I put those 3D glasses on, transports me right back there. And people talk about the technology and everything like that, but really shines, the real star of this is the performances. Yes. Incredible job.
Thank you.
Now, I love that this movie deals with grief, and that's where we start. And man, the Sullys have been through it in these last two movies. Neytiri's hanging on by a thread emotionally as the story starts. She's still mourning and still lost. What did you find most revealing about how Neytiri processes loss?
She experiences life through her body. I think that Neytiri is a woman of very few words and a lot of heart. And her heart right now is, like she said, in the way of water, it's full of ash, you know, and that was so complex and so challenging to be in her skin, you know, and I'm so happy that Jim gave us such an accurate portrayal of a family in grievance, you know?
Yes.
It wasn't comfortable to shoot those moments. It wasn't comfortable to be in their you know, bodies, but it paid off. It's so beautiful. And you know what? It gave way to the Sully children growing up faster.
That's a great
and
point.
becoming wiser and becoming more like individuals and making stronger decisions for themselves and then inherently for the family.
You know, speaking of that, like the way that grief is displayed in this movie is exactly what you said. It's something that a lot of people experience. Now, you portrayed Neytiri across so many, such a long time. Can you talk about the evolution of the character, especially what you discovered this time around in Fire and Ash with the character?
That her strength comes, her strength is her faith, and she knows it. Absolutely. She has no faith, she becomes wrong.
Yes.
You know, and Jake knows that, and I love the fact that the reason why she's in a good place is because she has Jake by her side. And the reason why Jake is in a good place because he has Neytiri by her side, you know?
Absolutely. I was fortunate enough to speak with Jon Landau at the last film, and I feel between him, he's really the heart of this movie. Can you talk about what his creative DNA, how it is infused within this movie and maybe even in the future films?
Jon is actually, because he will always live on with us, he's a genuine fan of films and storytelling. He loves cinema.
Yes.
And so therefore, he's the biggest champion. He's also the toughest critic. And like Jim has said so many times that the first thing he would do when he would complete a scene is go run and show it to Jon.
Really?
And Jon would and if Jon was excited and elated and happy, then Jim knew that he was on the right track. If Jon had notes, they would actually argue about them, and then later on he would realize Jon is right. You know, and I'm not repeating anything that Jim hasn't said, you know, already publicly. It's going to be hard moving on and not having that champion, the #1 fan, the #1 champion, the #1 advocate. Yes. for Avatar and Pandora. But it just means that we all have to be like the Sully kids. And after great loss, you rise up and you become wiser and you become then the guides that have to continue delivering, you know, everything.
Well said. Absolutely. Yeah, he was the heartbeat of this movie in a lot of ways, and you can just see the passion coming from him. I want to talk about the relationship between your character and Spider, because I find that is one of the most fascinating relationships throughout the whole movie, and I feel like Spider really is the heart of this film in particular. Can you talk about their incredibly complicated love and loyalty dynamic in this film?
Well, Spider is the physical reminder of everything that has been taken from Neytiri, and she's so blinded by her fury and her hate. I mean, she's a full-blown racist in Fire and Ash, and to a degree that Jake doesn't really recognize her anymore. And she's a stranger to herself, and she's abandoned the will of Awa in the sense that it's a child. Doesn't matter where this child comes from. You must love it. You have to take it in. This child doesn't have a home, and but every time she looks at that child, she's reminded. She's so triggered by it. I love that arc. that Jim was able to give Neytiri, because her rage is so big towards the Sky People. But if she doesn't conquer the rage with, internally in her family, then how can she ever conquer the Sky People? So it was really beautiful and interesting. And I do believe that Jack Champion played his role of Spider so beautiful, because there's this curiosity, there's this bravado that he's learned. He is a Sully,
Yeah.
He's so brave and he's so reckless, and yet he's just so humanly humble and empathetic and understanding of the ways of Awa and his people. So it was just so beautiful.
Well, thank you for taking us back to Pandora again. It
Thank
was so
you.
much fun. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.